What if I told you that the secret to a crazy productive day isn't about your apps or your hacks or even working late? What if it's all decided in the first 10 minutes after you open your eyes? We're about to break down how that tiny window of time can literally redefine your entire day.
The shocking truth about your performance is that your first 10 minutes after waking determine your productivity for the next 16 hours. I'll say that again. The first 10 minutes. It's not the coffee, it's not your to-do list, it's what you do right at the very beginning. For most of us, though, that critical window is just gone. We surrender it to chaos, we give it away for free to whatever the world throws at us before we've even had a chance to check in with ourselves.
And this leads us to a really powerful paradox. You ready for this? The single most productive thing you can do when you wake up is, well, nothing. It's strategic inaction. It's about intentionally ignoring the urgent, the emails, the news alerts, the social media feeds, because when you create that small, protected pocket of stillness, you build a foundation of focus and control that's going to last you the entire day. So here's our game plan. We'll start by unpacking that paradox. Then we're going to dive into what's really going on inside your head and what I call the brain's morning battle. From there, I'll give you the solution, a powerful priming ritual, and the science that makes it work. Then we'll get super practical with a 10-minute blueprint and finally show you how to truly design your day instead of just reacting to it.
Okay, let's diagnose the real problem here. Every single morning, there's a battle being waged inside your mind. And honestly, most people lose it before their feet even hit the floor. It's a fight against this invisible enemy that just sabotages your focus, drains your energy, and sets you up for a day of feeling busy but not actually getting anything important done.
And that enemy? It has a name: anxiety-driven distraction. Now think about it. What's the first thing most of us do when we wake up? We grab our phone. And in that one instant, we flood our brain, which is just coming out of a state of rest, by the way, with a tidal wave of other people's demands. Emails, news headlines, perfect-looking lives on social media. We are literally priming our own brains for stress and reactivity. And here's what's happening on a chemical level. That immediate dump of information triggers this huge spike in cortisol. That's your body's main stress hormone. Now look at this chart. It's pretty clear, right? When cortisol shoots up, what happens to your ability to focus? It plummets. Your brain's command center, its executive function, gets completely hijacked, and reactivity takes the wheel. You're not thinking anymore, you're just reacting. This basically creates two completely different paths your day can take. On the left, you've got the reactive morning. That's the one with the cortisol spike, constant distraction, and what we call a low velocity of engagement. It means you're busy, yeah, but you're just spinning your wheels. You're not getting any real traction. But on the right, you have the proactive morning. This path is all about calm, clarity, and a high velocity of engagement. You move smoothly and powerfully from one important thing to the next. And the key thing to get here is that the choice between these two paths is made in those first 10 minutes.
So what's the goal? How do we fix this? We need to create what's called a cognitive partition. I want you to literally imagine building a mental wall, a protected space between the quiet, restful state of sleep and the chaos of the day's demands. Now, this isn't about ignoring your responsibilities. It's about choosing the state of mind you bring to them. It's about wiping the mental slate clean so that when you do engage, you do it with total focus.
So how do we build that partition? Well, we use a very specific, scientifically backed system. It's called the priming ritual. Now let me be clear, this isn't some vague, feel-good, positive thinking stuff. This is a 3-part protocol for taking direct, conscious control over your brain's chemistry and focus for the rest of the day.
Part 1 is the Neural Reboot. See, your brain's been resting all night. You can't just flip a switch and expect it to be in high-performance mode. You have to send it a clear biological signal that things are changing. And we do that with simple physical action. Deep breathing, a little bit of movement. This does something incredibly specific. It drives blood flow straight to your prefrontal cortex. That's the part of your brain in charge of focus, decision-making, and keeping your emotions in check. You're basically waking up the CEO of your brain.
Part 2 is the Attentional Filter. Your brain, by default, has a negativity bias. It's wired to scan for threats, for problems. And if you just let it run on autopilot, that's what it'll do all day. So you have to consciously redirect it. By actively focusing on things you're grateful for, or even just recalling a positive memory, you trigger the release of chemicals like dopamine and serotonin. This literally shifts your brain's filter. Instead of scanning for what's wrong, it starts scanning for resources, for opportunities, for what's right.
And the final piece of the puzzle is the intention lock. This is where you become the programmer. You actively program your brain's priorities for the day.
Look, it's one thing to have a to-do list sitting on your desk. It's another thing entirely to embed your most important tasks into your actual neural circuitry. By visualizing yourself succeeding, or by clearly defining your top priorities, you're telling your brain, hey, pay attention to this. This is what matters today. Everything else is just noise.
And get this, this isn't just a fleeting thought. Neuroscience tells us that to actually start making a change in your brain's wiring, you need to hold a single thought or visualization with focused attention for about 17 to 20 seconds. It's in that sustained focus that the rewiring actually begins. You're not just thinking, you are literally building the mental architecture for your own success.
So we've covered the what. Now let's really get into the why. Why is this seemingly simple ritual so incredibly powerful? Well, it's because it directly targets the brain's biggest weaknesses first thing in the morning and gives you the controls.
Think of this ritual as a shield for your brain. First off, because it's a pre-planned routine, it completely eliminates morning decision fatigue. You're not wasting precious brain power on small stuff. This conserves energy in your prefrontal cortex for the big decisions later on. It also strengthens your impulse control, which makes you way less likely to get pulled off track. And because the pattern is so predictable and positive, it actually calms down your brain's anxiety center and helps get your body's natural energy cycles in rhythm.
Bottom line, the whole ritual works because it creates a pattern that your brain absolutely loves: predictability. When your brain knows what's coming next, especially in a low-stress, empowering way, it stops wasting energy on being anxious. You're anchoring your entire mental state for the rest of the day in this calm, focused, proactive foundation. It's not a temporary boost, it's a sustainable state you build from the ground up every single morning.
Okay, enough with the theory and the science. Let's make this ridiculously practical. This is your exact, non-negotiable 10-minute blueprint. I want you to start this tomorrow morning. No excuses, just a simple, powerful practice.
Here's how those 10 minutes break down. We've got a 3-minute physiological reset, a 4-minute attentional filter, and a 3-minute intention lock. Each step is designed to build on the one before it, creating this seamless runway from rest to peak focus. Step 1 is the 3-minute physiological reset. For the first 90 seconds, you're just going to do some deep belly breathing. In through the nose, feel your stomach expand, then a long, slow exhale through your mouth. For the next 90 seconds, just do some light stretching. Reach for the sky, touch your toes, nothing crazy. The goal is just to get your blood moving. And here it is, the single most important rule of this entire process: no screen time. It is non-negotiable. Your phone stays off, stays away. You need physical separation to get psychological detachment.
Step 2, the 4-minute attentional filter. Grab a notebook and a pen. For 2 minutes, write down 3 specific things you're grateful for. Don't just say, my family. Say why you're grateful for them. Specificity is everything here. Then, for the next 2 minutes, I want you to close your eyes and vividly imagine yourself completing your single hardest or most important task for the day. See it done. Feel that sense of accomplishment. You're literally priming your brain for a win.
And finally, step 3, the 3-minute intention lock. In that same notebook, write down your top 3 non-negotiable tasks for the day. Then say one powerful intention out loud. Something like, today I will focus without distraction. And this last part is so critical. You must immediately go from this ritual into your first block of focused work. No checking email, no grabbing coffee first. That immediate action is what locks in that prime state and keeps the world from snatching it away.
So, let's bring this all home. What's the ultimate takeaway here? This is so much more than a morning routine. This is a fundamental shift in your entire mindset. It's about going from being a victim of your day to being the architect of it.
Stop letting your day happen to you. Start intentionally designing your neural trajectory. Your success, your focus, your sense of well-being, none of this stuff is random. It is the direct result of the cognitive and emotional state that you choose to cultivate. And that process starts the second you wake up. You have the power to set the course for your own mind.
So let's recap this whole masterclass. Remember, the problem we're solving is that stress-driven reactivity that hijacks your morning. And why does this matter so much? Because the morning mindset gives you a system to set a proactive, focused trajectory for your entire day. The method is that priming ritual, using breath, gratitude, and visualization. And the psychology behind it? Simple. It lowers your stress hormones and preserves that valuable decision-making energy for what truly counts. And I want to leave you with this. True productivity isn't about doing more things. It's about mastering systems that make focus effortless. This ritual is one of those systems. It makes focus your default setting,
not something you have to constantly fight for all day long.
So there's really only one question left, and it's the one that you have to answer for yourself. How are you going to spend your first 10 minutes tomorrow? Are you going to give them away to the chaos, or are you going to invest them in designing the day you actually deserve? The choice is yours.